Welcome to the newest creepy... Oh shit, I fucked it up. Spooky of the week. Creepy of the week is
starring Spooky Mookie.
It's time for this new video where we're talking about It Follows. It is an entity.
No, it's called It Entity.
Enemy.
Oh,
it's called The
let's
Thing.
watch Enemy.
So Kevin, you recommended It Entity.
You recommended The Entity.
I did recommend The Entity.
Why?
I kept thinking it was called The Gate for the longest time.
The Gate?
Yeah, because like there's a movie called The Gate, and that's like came out around the same time, and like The Entity, The Gate, like it's just two words, like the ominous second word, you know?
Hey, wake up! Wake up, everybody! It's a gorgeous day! Gorgeous day! Come here.
20th Century Fox presents the story of Carla Moran,
Okay, now look.
the most extraordinary case in the history of psychic research.
Everything broke loose and went crazy, and everything was shaking. The bed was shaking, and the walls were shaking, and...
Like an earthquake.
No, it wasn't like an earthquake. It was much stronger than any earthquake.
Oh, wait a minute. Honey, I don't really understand this. You were attacked? Or you weren't? It happened. I was raped.
You were raped by whom?
I don't know. There was no one there.
Besides Sam Slade thinking that one weird niche horror movie is another niche horror movie.
Both about paranormal stuff.
What did you guys think of The Entity?
I thought it was okay.
Well, for me, it was kind of like a Conjuring before The Conjuring, in a way, because it was based on a true case file that's heavily debated to this day.
Which it should not be. Some light reading on that case file tells you that she's full of shit.
Yeah.
I saw it earlier this year, and it brought the whole case file and everything, and I just thought it was interesting.
It is interesting.
I thought the whole, just like all the, you know, the heightened scare scenes were really hard-hitting and effective and memorable to me. So I just thought it would be a old niche one that we could tackle.
Going into it, I was like, I like the soundtrack. This is pretty cool.
Well, it only has one song that it plays every time something happens.
No, they have the other Entity song. They have the like whenever like something really weird is happening, they have like another cool theme. Like it gets right into the plot pretty quickly. Like like within the first like 5 minutes, she's raped by a demon. Like okay, well at least it's getting going.
I didn't realize she was getting raped at first. I actually completely forgot that that's what Kevin said that it was about, even though I edited the video.
This always happens.
They thought she was just being bounced off.
Well, no, I was just like, oh, she's getting like, I thought she was just being suffocated or something. And then later she was like, I was getting raped, and I was like, oh, that's why it showed her legs. So it goes to a problem that I think I have with the movie. I don't think that scene really sells how like terrifying that should like that event should be.
Because they have way better demon rape scenes later on. Like there's at least 8 demon rape scenes I'd say in this movie.
Several.
There's a lot.
They just happen.
They happen all the time, and there's way like more like intense ones later on, and that one's very like.
And it's not. I'm not saying that the first one should be the most intense. I just felt like the first one should have been more intense to grasp me.
Well, this is what I think it was, where I think they start out where they're like playing with the idea that it's like, is it just in her head or is it not? And then about 45 minutes in, they're like, no, screw it, it's all real. This is
earlier than that, like it happens like as soon as like the kid gets shocked, it's like, okay, well it's not in her
Well, that's
head.
like 40 minutes in.
Is it 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes in, dude. And then like the scene right after that, she's in that boardroom, and that's when it was like completely like, because the thing I was liking a lot about it, like the first 40 minutes of it, was that every time like she went to the hospital or like talked to anybody about it, she was doubtful about it. She's like, this is something wrong with me. This isn't a demon or whatever. This is just like usually the movie, like in every movie that has something like this, it's like no matter what, the main character's like, no, I saw it. You don't understand. But like for like a good chunk of the movie, she's like, all right, doctor, what's wrong with me? Please tell me what's wrong with me. I do not want this to keep happening. Like this isn't like, even though it all feels real to her.
Going into it, I remembered almost nothing. I don't know if I do that on purpose at this point. I just block out anything.
I don't know. It happens like literally every time.
Anything anyone says about the movie, I just forgot.
This is a scary movie? What the fuck? Kevin, why didn't you say anything?
But yeah, so like the way it opened up, I was very ungrasped by it, but I think I got a little bit more grasped towards the boardroom scene. I thought was really interesting. Like I liked the idea of them playing around with it, and that's around the time where I decided to look up what happened. But I want to get more into that later. We can spoil it. Like, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna
I
bother
think
doing a
So here's the
spoiler-free
thing. So I don't think it's a terrible. Like, it's not like a bad movie. It's just okay, in my opinion. Like, I think its main problem is like a really good direction. Like, I don't think the director did very well with the source material.
Yeah.
Like, because it's interesting at the beginning for one reason, where it's like, oh, she wants to solve this. It probably is something like because it's a movie. It's probably something supernatural, but she wants to get to the bottom of it, and it's playing both sides. And then it stops doing that, and it takes you a bit to adjust because you're like, all right, are we just throwing all that out the window, and we're just gonna take this as like, oh, it's poltergeist or whatever? Like, it's just,
it did kind of turn into.
So and then it turns into that, and then you're like, okay, and then it doesn't take till the last like 20 minutes or so for you to even be on board with that.
Which is kind of sad because if they had stuck. Well, I mean, there are parts that they changed from the true occurrence that were kind of good changes. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense for drama's sake and for this and for that.
Yeah, because it was supposedly 3 Asian men that did it in the real life story.
And
she
then
specified their race.
We cannot have those.
No, that's not good. It's the 80s. But then there were some things that they did change that I'm like, well, I don't think that's as interesting. Like, I think it would have been more interesting because, like, if they had stuck to the facts of the case file, like, it would have been more like the first half of it. So they kind of added a little extra oomph at the end to kind of
like I was saying,
make it more of a movie
like
than
I
a
was
true
saying with
story.
the
It's more
opening-
inspired by a true story by the end than it was an actual true story by the end.
Like I was saying with the opening, is it doesn't show you enough to really horrify you or grasp you. Like, holy shit, the stakes are real. Like, it, as an example, has a really great opening where it's like, holy shit, kids can die in gruesome deaths. Stakes, I'm into this. The movie had like that. The scene serves a similar purpose, where it's like, oh, you know, demons are real. She's getting raped, but it's not heavy hitting enough to make you ever really scared of the demon. Where
It
you're
should
like,
be a little more horrifying.
but at the same time, being raped is such a horrible thing that you're like, okay, what else is the demon gonna do? It's already raping her regularly, so it's like, what am I supposed to be scared of? And by halfway through the movie, she's pretty okay with being raped. She even has a line where she's just like, you know what? For my family, I'm just gonna let him rape me. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna let him rape me. And it's like, okay, so that means being raped
I think
isn't
that goes
that
with the
big of a
direction
deal
thing.
to you?
Is like almost every rape scene. I just felt like it's just like anybody could have shot it that way. Like, it doesn't seem special in any way. This movie made me think of 2 different movies, both not horror movies, but both that had like similar things with it that like either did it better or did the same. One was a movie called The Boys from Brazil. And Boys from Brazil, like The Entity, has a really, really interesting concept that if you don't know anything going into it, once like it hits and you're like, holy crap, that's what this movie's about, it's one of the most insane things ever. But the movie is so horribly directed that when that comes around and you realize what's happening, it's kind of like, and this is happening. There you go. That's happening. And then you're like, all right, cool, that's happening. What are you going to do with it?
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. No, it's just going to be there. And the second one was a movie called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. It's a Sam Rockwell movie, directed by George Clooney.
Yeah,
George Clooney.
George Clooney himself?
And it's a good movie. It's actually I like it a lot, and it's this weird biopic like this one where it's classified as a biopic, right?
Yeah.
But it's only told from his perspective, so it's like all this stuff that he claims happened, the movie's just playing with, and it's like, there's no way this is true. Like, but that's the thing with this movie is it didn't like poor direction, and it didn't ride the line enough. Where I felt like it
also
was
really
going
didn't pick a side hard enough. Whereas like it could have been really interesting if they did just play with the you are in her mind. This is like everything she's seeing. And then you're left to kind of like question, oh, was that narrator reliable? Like, can I trust what I saw because I was seeing it through her eyes? Or gone the complete opposite direction where it's like, all right, we're seeing it as an outsider, and same thing, you're left to decide whether it's happening in her head. Maybe you're given a little bit of evidence, but it rides the line without ever playing with it.
I also feel like the scares were hit and miss.
Yes.
Like, especially even if they do it the same way. Like, so like they had one scene where the scene where she orgasms in her sleep because of the demon.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a good scene, especially because the effects looked like when it was like it just shows her boob, right, and it's like being messed with and stuff.
Yeah.
And like it's a kind of obscure shot, and like you're looking at it, it's like, oh, that looks really realistic. Like that looks good. Like that's creepy. And it's a good scene, and then they do that same thing later,
And it looks
awful. It's because they had the whole body suit, and it's very obvious. That's like it's not even the same skin color.
No, it looks like a zombie. Like it looks like the zombie body from The Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring this up again, but it's just my biggest problem with the whole thing. Like, look at any successful horror movie. Your monster either does one of two things. It sets up in the beginning what it can do, and it will keep doing this, like what it can do, and that thing is terrible. Like, it can kill kids, it can kill women or men, like, it doesn't matter, like it follows, it immediately shows you, oh, people aren't safe. Or it doesn't tell you what the entity can do, and it's left up to your imaginations. The whole movie, you're like, what even happens if my character that I'm following gets caught? And this movie fails to really set up either of those things. I never felt scared of it once.
I actually disagree on the whole scares thing. Almost all of them that I remember anyway got me pretty good. I was like, because the music to me was just so intense, like it was almost like a hammer.
The music is really good.
Hammer going into my brain. So no matter what I was watching, it just was painful. I'm like, oh my god, God, what's going on?
Well, no,
What's happening?
we're shitting on the movie a lot. It's not terrible though.
No, it's not bad. It's just not great.
I feel like I've just seen the.
It's also too long.
Yes.
Yeah, it is too long.
I think a remake could be really good.
Like once I hear that
It could be like The Conjuring, dude.
drug abuse and physical abuse have been in the equation, I'm like, okay, well, now any like my mind is just like, oh, well, she's probably either hallucinating or making it up. Like that just seems so much more logical to me. So it kind of broke it for me a little bit after reading that.
So like imagine like. All right, now I'm not even gonna talk about the movie now. I got a sweet idea for how it would be remade. I don't know if they would do this. Probably not, because they don't.
It's The Conjuring.
So like
4.
for like at least 30 minutes, 30 maybe halfway through, all you see is her talk about being raped. And you're like, hold on, is this bullshit? Because a lot of people haven't seen the end, so it's not like it's a true story that's
that could be
wide
super
open
interesting
already.
if they completely flip it on its head, where it's like they make her more like her real life self, but push it even farther. Like she doesn't only have history with drug abuse, but she's like a drug addict, and like no one takes her seriously at all. Like really push the fact that she is probably hallucinating.
And get the audience against her.
Yeah.
And then maybe like halfway through, you just see essentially a rape scene like that, and it's just hard hitting. You're like, oh fuck, and it's like there's like a lot of good build up, and you're like,
An interesting
in that
character
way.
to make the main character could be the son. It could be really interesting if the whole movie is like, it starts off with him just running into his mom's room. Like the first thing you see is he's sleeping, and then you hear and he's like, oh shit, he turned his light on, and then he runs in and he's like, Mom, what's going on? So you as an audience member, you're introduced to the fact, like, here's your main character, his mom's crazy, and he has to go to school, maybe he has to defend his mom's honor, like people are shitting on his mom, and he's like, you know what, no, she works hard. And that could be interesting.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Movie does nothing like that.
Wow, that's I liked it a lot, honestly, and I enjoyed my time with it. It's flawed, but I enjoyed it in its own way for its spooky content.
Yeah,
and hence
it
why
is spooky.
Hence why it's the Uncle Spooky of the spooky for
it
this
is
week.
fitting for the second Uncle Spooky of the spooky.
Yeah, it's okay. If you're looking for like a spooky movie, like it's pretty spooky.
One thing I will say is
Barbara Hershey, that's where I've seen it.
in the face of like so many other movies with like similar themes and motifs, like Possession came out a year before. I think it just like
Possession's awesome. That movie's great.
I would say
I almost suggested that this week, but I was like, oh,
Again?
if you've already seen every other movie that's better than this, and you really want a new movie to watch with your girlfriend or whatever, then I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's great.
But if you haven't seen The Possession, forget everything.
It's just called Possession, dude.
Is it not The Possession?
It's not The Possession, it's just
If you haven't
Possession.
seen Possession, just close out of this video. It's on Amazon.
Watch our video.
All right, Sam Slade.
My
What are your
suggestions. You guys are
suggestions?
getting 4 this week.
4 spookies.
I couldn't make up my mind. Or A Tale of Two Sisters. Raw, which is like, I'm really going to push for this one because it's on Netflix now. In the Mouth of Madness, which I want to rewatch. Father's Day. It's like a really weird, like I don't know much about it. I'm pretty sure it's like a really weird, like B-movie, horror movie. Like kind of is self-aware, but also is trashy. That's like a really like homosexual horror movie kind of thing. Like it's like
See, I'm gonna vote for Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Oh, what did I say?
I'm gonna say in the mouth of madness. Gonna
Oh
make it hard.
shit! This is not a dime.
It's a
Diplomatic
It's a rep.
representation.
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 All right. All right. So Kevin, call it heads or tails.
Heads.
Heads is in the mouth of madness. Tails is.
It is tails. We are watching.
Watching Father's Day. Another good movie.
All right. See you guys next week. It was fun as always.
It'll be extra spooky next time.
We get spookier by the week. Yeah, but I
Made by
hope you
Scott's
enjoyed
father.
this episode of Spooky of the Week. It was sponsored by Scissors.
It was. Buy your scissors. They will cut boxes and paper and your hands. I got cut by scissors.
You know,
the other
Samson,
day.
I was using my scissors the other day and I cut a piece of paper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many times?
Well,
As many times as I wanted until it broke.
I cut,
You broke
I cut
your
several
paper?
pieces of paper.
No, I broke my scissors.
Well, you gotta buy
I
a new
cut
pair
too
of
much
scissors.
paper.
Good for you. This is sponsored by scissors.